Welcome back to Become Love. My name is Silvie Celiz, and here in the show, we talk about all things intuition, love, life, optimizing all of your relationships, starting with the one with yourself. Those are just a few things because the list goes on and on and on and on. That's just my style. So today I'm super excited because we're going to talk about unschooling, homeschooling. And this is one of the episodes that I've been wanting to make because this is what I live every single day of my existence right now in this point of my life. I unschool, homeschool, intuitive, sovereign school my 7.5-year-old son, Wesley Ocean. And this was a decision that I felt within me. I felt it even when I was pregnant with him. I knew that we just had to homeschool him. There is so much to say about this from my viewpoint, from my perspective, because I'm so passionate about what I'm doing here with Wesley. And I made a list of some of the things. I know I'm not going to get to everything. And I'm probably going to make more episodes speaking about certain angles or things that I'm doing because it's a pretty innovative and disruptive way to take on your child's education. When I started to look into homeschooling options, like what is it all about? Like, what are we going to do? What's my vision? I want to know what is out there. I wanted to learn more because I love to research everything, not just channel information from the larger consciousness system, from the databases of the universe intuitively, but I also love to research. I love to bring both together, have a vast amount of information, which is why I probably love intuition. Because as you know, and you've heard in other episodes, or especially in the episode on intuition, I think it's episode 5, that you get to channel straight direct, unlimited, vast amounts of information from the databases of the universe, the Akashic Records, whatever you want to call it, library of all the information, data streams of everyone, all possibilities, all probabilities in existence or that could be, right? So because of that, I just love to gather information so that I can make more conscious choices based on the information that I have. I often like to cultivate within my son to think 3 steps ahead before making a choice. So to understand consequence and the probabilities of the choices that you make, the probabilities of the consequences and the results that come from the choices that we make, right? So the more information we have, the better choices perhaps that we can make because we have more information. We have a larger view of reality. We could see more options and see what could be the best probability for the best possible outcome. So this is one of the things that we get to cultivate every single day in our homeschooling, unschooling, sovereign schooling, intuitive schooling. I come up with my own. So that's one of the things that I wanted to first talk about. When I started my journey into homeschooling, I felt like, well, okay, everybody picks a curriculum, everybody picks a style. However, I had a vision of, first of all, a why I'm doing this. Why am I doing this, right? And then I had a vision of what it would look like. Now, the vision of what I thought it would look like and the reality was very different. I feel like the key is the why. That is the one that keeps you going. The why. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? So let's go into the why. Well, in my personal experience of being in school and observing everyone in school and in the school system, I noticed that, well, first of all, everyone learns in a different way. but there's only one way that they teach. And so, for example, for a person who is more visual, or a person who is more creative, or a person who's more intuitively dominant, for example, it doesn't really work what they're teaching in the regular school system. That's one thing. That's just one thing, like the style, the learning style. Everybody has a different learning style. And learning happens all the time. It doesn't just happen when I'm going to sit down and now I'm going to do school and I'm going to learn now. It doesn't work like that. Learning, especially for kids, is life is a learning schoolhouse. And that's how we see homeschooling, unschooling, sovereign, intuitive schooling. I don't even know what to call it anymore because it's like my own little creation that I came up with. We do private homeschooling. It's not a charter, like the government doesn't give us any money or anything like that, because we want to create our own way of doing it. So we call it, of course, when you file for private homeschooling, you have to come up with your own name. So our homeschooling, it's called WOW Academy. WOW because my son's initials, and I didn't come up with this intentionally, but it's WOW. It's Wesley Ocean White. So WOW Academy. So everybody has a different learning style. One of the things that I actually researched is that also boys and girls, because they do have differences biologically, they actually learn different. I have a son, so I was really focused on learning and understanding the male biology and what they need, how they thrive, what their makeup is all about. And sitting down for hours hours every day, imagine, oh my gosh, sitting down for years and years, if you put it all together, that is not the way that boys thrive. Boys need to move. Not that girls don't, but boys have this energy, this like, they can't contain it. They're like jumping, like they need to just, they are just bursting. They are bursting with this movement that they have to exert. When we're here, we can make that happen. So, I mean, the pluses are going to keep coming and coming. Yes, everything has a pro and a con, but you have to, again, make a choice. And you have to make a choice that feels right to you and that has the highest probability of the best result overall. That doesn't mean that it's going to be perfect. Nothing is perfect here. It's all about the choices that you make and what you do with what you have. Okay. So the school system is really set up for you to sit down, be quiet, listen, and learn. It's very much about developing the intellect, developing the logical, the reasoning. Now, in the first 8 years of a child's life, it's not about developing the intellect. It's about developing the intuitive space, the intuition, okay? And absolutely, I was not going to let that happen because it creates separation. And what we want to do is integrate ourselves and create wholeness, become whole. And intuition is a part of us, of our system, of our who we are. And it's a very important part. And so is the intellect, but it's not about suppressing the other. It's not about separation. It's not about picking one or the other. It's about allowing the nature of our being, the natural development of what it takes to become whole, to let that happen naturally. And so I didn't know who my son was going to be, like what kind of learner. However, if I brought him here, like if I am his guide, I felt a responsibility to take his education into my own hands, especially knowing what I know and having the vision that I have. I never thought, oh, this is too much, this is really hard, because I had zero experience doing it. And yes, it can be extremely overwhelming, extremely challenging. However, that's what growth is all about. That's what growth and learning and growing is all about. And that's why we're all here. We're here to learn and to grow. And it has been the biggest learning opportunity for me, growth opportunity for me as well, for all of us, because we spend so much time together and we get to mirror each other and we get to reflect onto each other all of the things that we cannot see within ourselves. So there's so much growth and so much learning. And honestly, my son inspires me to be even better. And it's the love within, the love that I get, the love that gets ignited within me through his presence. It's amazing how someone's presence can just ignite this unconditional love that we've got deep within our well, deep within us. And so this force of love is the strength, is the courage, is the one that goes and overcomes and breaks through everything, every challenge, every fear, right? Okay, so I'm going to go back to my notes. So at your own pace learning, I have in my notes here, at your own pace learning. At your own pace learning, this is so important. My son gets to design his day. He gets to organize and have choice, exercise more choice, and start to begin to develop a sense of, I'm in charge of my life. I own my day. And how am I going to, if I have all these things I have to do, right? And we design all the things he has to do together, all the things that he gets to develop, the skills he gets to develop, the things he wants to explore. What I really liked about unschooling was that it's a child-led education. So I get to observe him, get to know who my son is, and then bring to him an environment and experiences that can support and cater his own interests and expose him to a variety of things to get to know who he is, what lights him up, what is he interested in, how can we go deeper into that, what happens, what blooms out of that. It's really beautiful. It's the unfolding of the core of your being, the unfolding of the core of your being. And so, and how he learns is unique to him. So learning how he learns, and so that I can bring an environment where we nourish and cultivate learning. It becomes a very creative thing. Like I have to come up with creative ways. So I exercise my own creativity to inspire and cultivate the love of learning. I mean, wow. Just as I'm saying it, I'm getting super excited about it. Like I said, it's not easy sometimes. It's challenging. And here's the biggest kicker that nobody will tell you. In my personal experience, is that first I start out zero, like the Fool's card in the deck of the archetypes, right? In the what do you call that? The deck of cards at zero, right? You go to the Fool to the world, from the Fool to the world, where you just don't know anything. But I am always a student and also a teacher, so I welcome the zero level because I know that it's all a game. It's all a game of learning. You climb, and then when you get to the next level, you're going to start at zero again until you keep going, and then you master that, but then you go to the next level, and then you're going to start at zero again, and it's this cycle. So with homeschooling, I've noticed it's the same kind of idea where I start out, as he's developing and he's growing and he's changing so fast, I also have to do the same with the learning and and with the what we're doing in our schedule and the activities and everything, it's so dynamic. Like, for example, I start like, oh shoot, I don't know what this stage is. A new stage, a new development stage for him. He's into something else, so I start out at zero. What worked before no longer works right now. So I know that at the beginning was really hard to come to terms. I was like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's happening here. I don't know what to do. I don't have it together. But now I know not having it together is part of the process, and it's great because I know that now I start at zero. We start anew, okay? And we get into a creative zone of observation, of learning, of testing, of tweaking until we dial it in, and then we write it for a little bit. We've got it. Because, sometimes we like to feel like we feel good when we got it, right? At least I do. I'm like, yeah, I got it. And then I don't anymore because he's already moved on and he's changing and he's growing. So now we're in a new stage, and now I'm back to zero, and now I got to start again. And this is good. It doesn't feel good at the beginning because you're like, oh shoot, I don't feel good about myself because I don't have it anymore, especially because we're not doing this academic curriculum. We're not doing that. We're going intuitive. We're going sovereign. We're going autonomous, child-led, potential. We're going 100% just so creative. And also, I do a lot of research about, again, the avatar part, right? The biology, for example, for a boy. One of the things that I learned was that motor skills for boys don't really activate for writing at about 7 or 8 years old. And so when you push that, it's not natural to push it. So we didn't really do the writing. He's just coming into the writing and it's happening, but naturally. We never pushed the reading either because I know it's an intellectual process. But we always read to him. We read, and he had a natural inclination to want to read, and we don't stop it. We just go with it. If he has a natural inclination for something, we go with it. So he learned to read really fast on his own. We didn't do much. We just read to him, and we provided an environment that catered to reading, and he got into it. So I'm gonna have to back it up for a second and say a couple of things. One of the biggest things that I saw in school was the culture that was being developed that you see in movies, and you see it also in the actual school system, where there are the bullies, there are the cliques, there's a particular the competition, the comparison, the lack of character development. And this is not what school's designed for. The traditional school is not designed for that. It's not designed for that. So then you ask yourself the question, well, what is it designed for? And like I said, it's very much a one-way ticket of developing the intellect. Now, I read something that I thought it was very interesting. These studies that were showing that the actual learning style in general from school systems, the traditional school system, was very much geared towards women. Isn't that interesting? So it's the way that women generally learn. Now, I don't like to generalize at all, but I thought that was really interesting when I was learning more about the biology of men and women and how they differ, and how I'm just talking about biology. Now, then there's the consciousness part. That's different. And then you have to put them together. I feel like it's so individualized. It's the way that we have to develop is an individual. Bio-individuality is important. And for me as a mother, I want the best possible opportunities for development and growth for my child. I mean, there's a lot of mean, mean situations that happen in school, a lot of negativity, a lot of there's no understanding of the self. There's no development of the self. It's just you just had to learn all these academic things, and that's not what life is all about. That's not how you thrive in life. Yeah, you can make a lot of money, but what about the quality of your being? How do you feel inside? How do you feel inside? What kind of mindset do you have? How do you feel about yourself? How do you connect to yourself and others? There are a lot of gaps. I saw a lot of gaps. So I'm going to like run down maybe, and then I'll talk about some of them. But for example, these are some of the things that we include and I thought was vital for an education, a holistic. Are you kidding? No, that's my dinner. That's my dinner alarm. Start dinner. Okay, so now you know what time I'm recording this. Okay. So some of these things are vital that I felt were for a holistic education, a holistic, rounded education, that I want the best of the best for my child. So some of the things: financial literacy, financial intelligence. They don't teach you about financial literacy in school. I'm not talking about just economics and that kind of stuff. No, I'm talking about being financially free, understanding what it takes to be financially free. They don't teach you that in school. Very important if you're living in a physical reality that deals with money. They don't teach you about money, value systems. They don't do that. Important. They don't teach you about relationship mechanics. You have no idea about relating and connecting to yourself on an authentic level and others. People often say like, oh, when you homeschool, you don't socialize a lot. Like you don't socialize kids to kids, and that they find it that it's like the worst thing that can happen to you. Like, oh, that's why you go to school, because you socialize. Well, in my personal opinion, I think like the best way to understand relationships, first of all, to have a positive interpretation of relationships, is not the peer-to-peer. It's the parent-to-child relationship. That's where we get the relationship education, not from the peer-to-peer. Okay? And we're not going to be kids forever. We're going to be, most of our lives, we're going to be adults. We're going to, so we have the opportunity to learn, well, at least in my homeschooling environment, because I value that, to learn about relationship mechanics and how to understand yourself, self-mastery. Self-mastery is about understanding who you truly are, not a self-image idea of who you need to be in order to belong or please people or be accepted by society, but who you truly are at the core of your being, and accepting yourself. Who you are at the core of your being, and you being responsible for changing what you don't like and becoming who you want to be and liking that person. That is basic. They don't teach you that in school. Okay? And this is not a video like against school. It's just, these are the reasons why I'm choosing, and I chose, and I feel it's the best for my son to have this well-rounded education where you have these things for years. We're talking about what, like 18 years of someone's life, 18, like as if, because I started at like when he was in the womb, I would tell him to express himself, to be who he is, to speak up, to, all of these things since he was in my womb. So for me, life is school. Life is school. So it's not like, okay, it's starting now and then it ends right here at 6 o'clock or 3 p.m. or 12. The entire experience is a learning experience. We are learning constantly, all the time. This entire life reality is a schoolhouse, is school in itself. Every single second of our interaction, of our anything that happens, we have something to learn from it. We learn something about ourselves. We learn something about people. We learn something about life. And that to me is the entire earth experience, which is a school in itself. So those were a couple of things. Another thing that I felt compelled, vital to have as part of our education and as a constant was health and nutrition. Health and nutrition. To understand how to nourish yourself, to feed yourself quality foods, to understand what sugar is, what, all of these things that are available to us, how the body works, how you react, and also on an individual level, what is right for you, because everybody has a different system. So everyone needs different things at a different time. Bioindividuality. There is how to keep a cell healthy, right? A cell within your avatar body. But then there's also within your own being, within your own body, like what is your combination? And this also changes because as you shift and change, that also changes. I've had that experience with myself and I've seen it in others. So that is really important for us every day, and also to create your own, to design and create your own meals, to understand at least what it takes, what you need. Give yourself what you need at the times. Like, no, you can only eat at Reese's, and you can only, what if I need to eat like snack? What if I'm a gracer? I want a snack all the time. The guys are flying helicopters outside. You might be able to hear it. I can hear it. So all of these things are a part of our curriculum. You want to call it curriculum? I call it just life education. Life education. This is like what I feel that everyone deserves to know and to develop. One thing that I find that is so important, is the self-mastery part. Self-mastery is about understanding who you truly are at the core of your being. It is self-discovery. It is knowing yourself. Know thyself. Okay? Know thyself. So in school, we're so focused, even if you homeschool and you're doing like somebody's curriculum of academics, I'm talking about academics in general, it doesn't give you any kind of learning about who you are. Like who are you? Like what are your fears? Like what is blocking you? Like what is the potential that's there available for you? Understanding how you respond, why you respond, like what you don't like. What's your gift in life? Like everybody comes with a gift. How do you discover that gift? Have the time to unveil it, to discover it, to develop it, to bloom into it, to try different things. Have that available time and the support to be able to do that, right? I think that's so important. I know so many people, and my sister is a purpose life coach. And so purpose in business. And I see so many people of her clients and just people in general, like, I want to know what my thing is. Like, I don't know. I feel like in school is like a drone place where you just like, it teaches you to be this worker. And what if you don't want to do that? What if you're an entrepreneur? What if you are an artist? What if you are like all these other things that are available to you that generally it's part of your gift, that you are just naturally inclined. It's part of your story of development. It's your passion. How do you even find your passion? There's adults that are so thirsty to understand, to find their passion. Here's the thing. You are born with it. And then all of these things happen, like the systems of life that don't work, in my particular opinion. And mind you, some people love school. That's fine. I'm talking about my personal viewpoint of reality. So take it or leave it. What if, you have it, you have that passion, you're born with that thing. You just have to just be so self-aware and continue to do what you've always, that has naturally come from you. Look back. What lit you up? What was always something that really, nobody told you to do it. You just did it because you really liked it. Why are you still doing it? Why not continue to do it? Things like that. Like, we are not, all of us, supposed to be the same and do the same things and have the same life and have the same goals. We are taught to think like that. This is the problem, okay? We cannot think our way into who we are. We just have to be it. We have to be who we are. We can't think of who to be. That's a very intellectual thing. It's not authentic. You just have to bypass that intellectual process and get to the heart and the core of who you are and be it. Express it. It's about personal expression, okay? It's about expressing the core of your being and leading from that space, from that state of beingness and beyond, being led from there into your life, into the navigation of your life. Oh, another thing, okay, because it's just going to keep coming. Another thing that I feel is vital, no curriculum, not even in homeschooling, unless you add to it, will provide that for your child, is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, to me, is a basic foundation for wellness, well-being, and to thrive, for optimization of the self. Absolutely necessary. Not just for the child, for the parent, okay? And the reason why the parent may not have it is because as a child, it was not developed, right? So it's like a vicious cycle. When do we stop that? Okay, I decided to put the buck stops here. I decided I will develop my emotional intelligence, and this gets developed in intuitive space, okay? I will develop that and role model it to my child and cultivate that within my child. And I have the opportunity to do that when we're homeschooling because we're together all the time. And that is necessary for thriving relationships. Emotional intelligence is basic, okay? For business, emotional intelligence is basic because the resilience that you build is key into all of the things that you go through within a business as an entrepreneur, especially. I'm talking about within life and all the things that happen in the world, blah, 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 within relationship and all of the things that you go through within the relationship with yourself and what you need to overcome within yourself. All of that is so key. Emotional intelligence is a key basic. I cannot emphasize that enough, okay? And that is one of the things that we focus on every single day here. Growth mindset. That is something I cultivate within myself, within my son, in my entire family as a leader, a spiritual leader of my home. Growth mindset. We are here to learn and to grow. Okay? Mistakes, failures, getting it wrong. It's awesome. It's all a learning opportunity, and that helps us to grow. It enriches us. So, when you're getting tested, you got a D because the setup is just not right for some people. For example, you got D, so you must be not very smart. That's not true. That's not true at all. I don't believe that. Okay? Maybe it's a wrong setup. Maybe that's not the way that person learns the best. Maybe that the entire environment is not the best learning environment for that person. It doesn't mean that they're not smart. It doesn't mean like some people might be geniuses. They're not mathematicians. Some people might be total innovators. They just may not be great test takers. I don't know. It's just that you got to expand your mind. There's so much potential in people. There's so much more to us than what's in front of us. And this is what I personally feel passionate to break out of. Break out of that system and to create new systems that actually work to optimize the self, the family units, and our world. Beginning at the consciousness level, starting at the consciousness level, at the core, at the source of things. Okay? From the inside out. This reality is a projection of all of our consciousness. If we want to change something about it, we got to change it from the inside out. Period. Bottom line. Okay? Whew. One of the last things I will say about this before I wrap this up, that I feel personally it's powerful. Powerful. I love that word because I can hear when I edit my own videos or my own audio, I hear myself like, it's powerful. I like it. It's powerful because it's powerful. Okay? It's the opportunity that I get as a mother to witness everything that my son goes through and have the opportunity again to support and help him understand, interpret that experience in a positive way. I can't even tell you, like, generally in when he goes to class, classes, he does martial arts, he does taekwondo. He loves martial arts. Interesting, because I've always loved martial arts too, but I've never said a word about it. But it's amazing how your children sometimes are born with certain things that you never totally developed, but you always loved. And when I'm sitting at different classes and things that we do, and I'm surrounded by nannies, and because the parents are not there, they're working, and no judgment, okay, but the opportunity that I have when I see my son interacting in the classes that he goes to, that I'm there, I'm witnessing, I'm listening, I know what happens. I know the runnings that he may have with certain kids, or the things that were the first time that he experienced something was amazing, or the first time that he experienced something that didn't feel good, or I hear everything, I see everything, and so I know how to approach the conversation so that he can feel what he needs to feel. I can hold space for the feelings. We can talk about it and have a bigger picture understanding, and not create so many negative interpretations of the things that happen. Because if he was in school and I never saw anything, like sometimes kids keep things in. They don't tell everybody because they don't have that rapport developed, that conversation, that you're not there, and they're like, well, maybe they like buried it, maybe they forgot, maybe they don't think it's important, maybe. But I saw it, I heard it, I know what's happening. So I kind of bring up at the best time in a way that opens him up to speak about what happened, what he felt, his interpretation. I get to know him and how he's interpreting the situation, I get to guide him into interpreting it in a way that he could learn and grow from it, in a way that where he can develop more expanded view of reality, compassion and empathy for others in their experience, understand how everyone is different, yet how do we all come together? What is in it for him to grow and develop and understand and learn? I mean, this is beautiful, this deepening opportunity. At how many years do we have to develop this character, this understanding of the self, others, reality, of the life that you get to build through your gift, your passion, and your potential that is there for you? To me, this is why I do what I do with the homeschooling, unschooling, sovereign, intuitive schooling. I can't just call it homeschooling because homeschooling has a stigma. It has a, people are like, oh yeah, you homeschool, this is what we do. But it's not. You wouldn't know what we do unless I told you all of the things that we do, which is so holistic. It's there is no curriculum like that. It is completely 100% custom, catered to also fit my son's needs, fire, and his personality or his character, his consciousness. We have gamified overcoming fear here. We noticed how he gets so into the point system. So we decided, hey, why don't we just gamify fear, overcoming fear? And because it's very, very normal around here to talk about fears, emotions, feelings, to have conversations, to feel our way through. It's important. It's important because expression is a release, but in a healthy way. How do we do that in a healthy way? How do we do that in a way that it doesn't hurt you or others, but it actually cleanses you, that it really grounds you? This is what I live for every single day. Yes, it's challenging. Yes, it can be overwhelming at times. Yes, it's sometimes an inner struggle of other things that I want to do, but I also want to do this, but I'm committed to this, and how many commitments can I make? But this is where values come in. This is where values come in, and this is where you got to come to your center. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? What's the bigger picture here? Why are we here? We're here to learn and to grow. We're here to become love. We're here to grow up. We're here to evolve the quality of our consciousness. We're here to get rid of our fear. Okay? So a lot of the things that Tom Campbell talks about, which I love the way he puts it like that, but it's true. And I've been on that journey since way before I met Tom, or I was exposed to his work through other also mentors that I had and through my own personal experiences. And coming full circle with all of this has really rounded. It's almost like my whole life was prepping for this, right? And I feel that everyone's life, you're prepped for something, and you have to find out or get clarity on what that is. And I feel like that's what people call purpose. I feel like the overall purpose of humanity is to learn and to grow, to become whole, to integrate. The way we do it is very unique and individual for all of us, but we're all on the same journey. And if we can unite and be together in the overall collective from the authentic core of our being, I feel that things would be a lot more flowing, a lot more love-based. And my vision is freedom, is sovereignty. It is authenticity, and it's love. All of these things to be in place, to really get into your full potential, to experience your full potential. And I'm not just talking about your gift and your passion. I'm talking about your supernatural self, everything that you are, everything, which is why I'm so passionate about developing intuition and helping others develop intuition, and holding space for my son to develop his intuition and integrate that with what's coming with his intellect and all that. And everyone, again, is different, is a unique being, a unique combination. And so as a mother, I have to always keep that in my awareness, in front of me, of observing, like, who is my child and what does he need, which might be different from what I need. And the more that I take care of myself too, and take care of his own, and he learns to take care of his own as well by observing the role model of both. Because it's not about me, it's about us. It's about us, the whole, together. And we're all here to do this together, to grow together. Another thing I didn't say before that I think it's really important, I'm going to say it before I sign out here, is the deschooling is important. When you even think about homeschooling, however it is that you want to do it, it's important that you deschool yourself. Deschool yourself. What I mean is that you have to strip away everything that you think school is. Homeschooling is not doing what you do in traditional school at home. That's not homeschooling. Homeschooling is an opportunity for you to create a new way to do school, to do the education of your child, to create a new system that actually is different than the traditional school system. That's what homeschooling is about. Whether you get other people's curriculums or you create your own situation or you unschool or you, whatever it is that you decide that you would like to do, it's not what traditional school is. That's one of the things. And in order to actually do that, you have to completely reprogram, not even reprogram, you just have to completely delete what you thought school was and get out of like, oh, things have to be like this. Oh, you have to learn to read and write here and this and this and that. Like, I mean, for crying out loud, Einstein didn't speak until he was 4, right? And look at all the things he did. We have to redefine success, what success means. We don't have to do everything everybody does. We don't have to do that. Why do we do that? Question. Why do we do that? Okay? You have to get to know yourself, understand life, reality, the nature of reality, how you work from the inside out. Why are we here? Okay, why are we here? What's the point? These are questions. Who am I? Where do we come from? Where are we going? Deepen into the questions that actually give you clarity for your life. And deschooling yourself is crucial. Otherwise, you're going to be in a turmoil of, oh my gosh, we're not doing this. We're behind. Behind who's race thing? Like what game are you playing? Are you in the what somebody else designed that you need to keep up with the Joneses? You got to keep up with this way of being? Personally, for me, I don't play that game. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in playing that game. I'm interested in playing the game of consciousness evolution. I'm interested in playing the game of being who I am and of using all of my potential of developing all of my potential, of connecting, having deep, deep relationships, starting with the one with myself and the entire universe, okay? With my spouse, with my child, to feel lit up and feel free to feel everything and feel free, period. Feel free. Feel free, feel sovereign. And I'm an adventurer. I'm an explorer. But I also, at the same time, I parallel process reality. So I'm at the point where I'm very intuitive, but I've developed my intellect and I've united them both. And so I'm able to sort of parallel process reality. And I get excited about the potential, the human potential, but also the consciousness potential in that kind of realm. So I don't have to adhere of all of these societal who we need to be or whatever, because that's a game that doesn't take you in a place of happiness. A place of happiness is a place where you're free to be who you are and to accept everything about yourself, about your feelings, about reality, seeing the best way to interpret reality in the most positive way, to help others. I value beauty. I love beautiful things. Nature is beautiful. It's free. I value beautiful feelings, love, kindness, music. I mean, there's just so it's about how you choose to view reality in yourself. Okay, that's freedom to me. It's about going beyond also any reality, period. That's freedom to me. No limitations on that. But everything about growth, everything's about love, and it's serving love, the greater good of our well-being and our wellness in the most natural way. I value nature, like natural things, quality, and now I'm going into value systems. But that's another thing about between school and being in a more homeschool environment, that you get to really nurture and cultivate more of a value system that empowers you, rather than a value system of a society that perhaps maybe values a more superficial things. I just see so many benefits, and yes, it's challenging. But again, why do I do this? Why am I doing this? What's my why? What's my reason? And those reasons are stronger than anything else. Those reasons are stronger. And those reasons are stronger because they're about love. In other words, they're about other. It's about my son and what's best for him. And within that, I feel so strong about it. Within that, I know that it builds beautiful things within myself as well, that I get to grow and learn. And if I am here to learn and to grow, then I'm on purpose. Now, if I would like to do other things, as I am doing, as you can see, I'm doing my podcast, and there's other things that I do want to do on a personal level, then it's a challenge for me, and challenge accepted. I find a way to make it work. And if you set your mind to something, and there's a way, where there's a will, there's a way, and that's the power of intention. And again, it's all a learning process. It's all a growth experience. And I just get so excited about that. And I get excited and so lit up about the opportunities, about like the opportunity for my son, for freedom, for sovereignty, for experience, for choice, for playing the game in a bigger way, as well as myself. Because life doesn't give you something that you can't handle. Okay? You just have to get your mind stronger. It's a mindset thing. You just have to again, it's an inside to out game, from inside to out. And I always love a good challenge because I am a source player. I am a source player, so I'm going to play the game. And so that's where we're going to end today, this episode. You know the whole deal. Like it, share it, DM me for any questions. If you want to book a consultation, a session with me, you can do that as well on my website or on social media, Instagram, down here below, in the YouTube. In every little show note, you can find it. If you're loving this content, these videos, this podcast, be sure to subscribe to my audio email newsletter. It's free and it's weekly, and you get mentoring bits, audio mentoring bits under 10 minutes from me, going deeper into one tip, one insight, or a perspective that will help you into embodying your highest self, connecting and optimizing all of your relationships, starting with the one with yourself. Okay, sending you so much love, so much clarity as always, and we'll talk next week.